Enlightenment is said to be the freedom from attachment. And what kind of attachments do we have? We have 5 groups of attachments with which we identify as me, myself, and my, as something that I possess, that I have, as something that I exist within or even outside of. Number 1 is body, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness. And we're gonna dive today in the first group of attachments, which we call body or Rupa. And the attachment is manifested in illusions like, I am this body, I am fat and I'm struggling. Or I have this body is mine, my body hurts. Or I exist within the body. For example, I suffer from being crippled. And even though, according to conventional truth and grammatically, those sentences are correct, there is nothing wrong with them, and for someone, it's their reality. But according to ultimate truth, there are certain flaws with this type of thinking. Our existence, our life, shouldn't be completely defined by those conditions. In reality, our body is constantly changing. And more than that, we can exist beyond the conditions of the body. A person can be happy even if they are extremely sick. And we know the cases of very famous scientists that can do a lot of good in the world, even though, according to just a regular human being, they should be suffering and hide, maybe because they're looking really bad. And those illusions are manifested in actions, 2 types of extreme actions. One is too much, caring too much. Imagine a teenager who's spending like hours and hours in front of the mirror thinking that their body are not looking the way they should be looking, and everything is ugly, and they want to cut parts of their, I don't know, nose and add parts to their body, and then they will be happy. And of course, this dissatisfaction is not going to be managed by the outside change. The feeling of dissatisfaction is still going to persist. We're going to change one part, and then we're still going to be unhappy, and we need to constantly fill in, this endless pit. Another extreme on the opposite side would be too little. Think about Indian yogis. Maybe you heard about that. In order to overcome the attachment to the body, they're doing too much. For example, they can lift their hand up and hold it forever, ignoring impulses, urges from the body to put it down for years and years to come, to the point where all the soft tissues of their muscles and ligaments and tendons are just atrophied, and they cannot use the arm anymore. Does that bring them freedom? Does that make them more happy? Could they be helpful members of society by doing that? It's the open question. And for Buddha in Buddhism, his wisdom of middle way is not about, the physical between in these 2 extremes. It's about our ability to transcend those 2 extremes by understanding causes and conditions, causes and effects. If I do right now too much to my body, what would this lead to? Is it going to be beneficial for me and others, or it's going to be a troublesome event for me and others? Because sometimes in this life we need to do a little more. Sometimes I do need to have a rest. I need to have a break. I need to maybe soak in hot bath and just relax. But maybe sometimes I do need to ignore all the urges of my body and just work tirelessly. And our ability to change with the change according to conditions would show our improvement, our wisdom. So how to train that? In 2 ways. First, when we understand the wisdom that we need to transcend being too much or too little, when we need to see the conditionality of the body, we can practice that in first, daily mindfulness. For example, sports are very good for detaching from the body. Body says, okay, I'm done, I want to rest. But no, We say we will done when the exercise is done. For example, things like hiking, the body already complains, okay, I want to sit, I want to go back, I want to eat, I want to drink. And again, we're saying no, we're going to go and go and go, because there is not necessarily a very urgent need to react to whatever body tells to us. But at the same time, if we are pushing too hard, we can hurt ourselves, right? So we need to manage to find this balance, not too much and not too little. The more in depth we can go in stillness meditation, when we sit down long enough, of course, body starts to have those urges. Oh, I want to go. I need to relax my legs. I need to itch my nose. I need to stretch my back. Without hurting ourselves, we can develop a certain space between the urge and acting on that urge. Because when we can exist in this limbo, between the urge and acting on urge, we can understand that our existence is not defined by the body. We're not, this robots, these types of robots who have the impulse, you have reaction, impulse, reaction. No, there is more freedom to come, and you can notice maybe some energy being freed that you can later put in a good use if you're not immediately following whatever your body tells you to do. And more than that, from feeling so confined in the body in the beginning of meditation, with years of practice, we slowly can transcend to feeling lighter, more pleasant, nicer in the body. And after that, we can even go further to the point where we don't feel no body anymore. But at the same time, consciousness doesn't cease to exist. There are known, well-documented medical experiments with some monks, I think was done mostly with Tibetan monks, that their heartbeat stops, their EKG, their brain activity stopped. But they're not dead. So how can we identify with the body if it can cease to exist, but the mind, the consciousness still continue to exist?